I'm aware that we're just hitting 9:30, so I'll try and wrap up for those people. And if you do need to leave, then feel free. But I'll stay online as long as I've got more questions to answer. And I've got people's questions that they left when they registered for the webinar to answer as well. So I'll run through those at the end of the session. When can you access your superannuation money? So if you think that the transition to a retirement strategy is a great idea, then you need to first reach your preservation age, and that age is increasing over the next few years. So if you're born before 1st of July 1960, then your preservation age is 55. And then it's scaling up to the point that if you're born after 1960, the 30th of June 1964, then your preservation age is 60. So you can't actually move your money to pension phase until you've reached your preservation age. Now, and you can't you can only access 10% of the balance of your superannuation if you've reached your preservation age but haven't satisfied a condition of release. So reaching your preservation age enables you to access your super money, but if you haven't satisfied a condition of release, then you can only access it in the form of a pension, and the maximum amount of that pension is 10% each year. Just got another question. So does having two accounts mean that you get charged 2 times base fees from your super fund? Yes, it does. Yeah. So the fee that's duplicated is your $1.60 a week, or 52 times 60. So it's $83.20 a year that you're paying by having, in addition, that you're paying by having 2 accounts open. So your benefit's got to be more than $82. Do you have to be a certain age to move your money to pension phase? Yes, I'm just answering that question now. So thanks, Paul. So I've talked about the preservation age, and you have to meet that to access your money in any form at all. And then to get full access to your money, you need to satisfy what they call a condition of release. And it's different if you're over aged 60 than below age 60. So if you're below age 60, you need to have ceased gainful employment, and at that point in time, intend never to again become employed again. Now, say for example you're 55 and you've retired, or you stopped work and you don't plan to work again, and you declare that to your super fund, and then in 6 months' time or 12 months' time, you then decide that the retirement thing's not what it's cracked up to be, and you want to become employed again. It's fine to do that, but at the point in time that you make the direct declaration, it needs to be valid. And if you do go through that scenario where you retire, get access to your superannuation fund by satisfying that condition of release, that portion of your superannuation money maintains that status of being available to you, so unrestricted, non-preserved, if that happens. So that can be a strategy to apply. If you're over age 60, the rules are slightly different to satisfy a condition of release. All you need to do is cease a form of employment. So if you've got 2 jobs, or the classic scenario is you've got a directorship. If you retire from a directorship, then that's ceasing a form of gainful employment. You could keep your other job, then that's sufficient to satisfy the condition of release and get access to your money, or full access to your money. So that's just the difference between being over age 60. If you're continuing to work up until age 65, you don't satisfy a condition of release until you reach that age. So once you reach 65, then that's a catch-all. You actually reached, that satisfies a condition of release and you have full access. And so depending on, as I mentioned before, depending on whether you've reached your preservation age and satisfied a condition of release, you can access your superannuation funds in different ways. So one is in the form of a lump sum, and this means that you've reached your preservation age and retired or turned 65. So that means like we've talked about before, you've satisfied both conditions. And the tax implications are that if you're below age 60, there's a tax-free threshold. I think this is now up to $165,000. If you're below age 60, you can draw out that amount of money tax-free. If you're above age 60, any drawings in lump sum format or in pensions is totally tax-free. You can also draw it in the form of a pension, which basically means that you're just drawing a regular amount. It could be just annually, it could be monthly, it could be quarterly. Actually, I think Christian Super only does monthly, by the way. So this is a scenario if you're still fully employed or part employed, and so you haven't fully met a condition of release, you can only draw up to 10% of it a year. And there are minimums amounts that you need to withdraw each year. So depending on what your age is, you have to draw 4% of it a year. So if you've got $100,000 in your account and you move it to pension phase, then you've got to, if you're between 55 and 64 years of age, you've got to draw 4% of that, or $4,000. Over the last few years, that has been reduced to 2%. I guess half. Sorry, it's reduced by half for each of the thresholds. That was due to the global financial crisis, but they don't really announce that. They haven't announced that until like June or late June as to whether they'll continue to do that into the future. It's advantageous for them in some respects because they're able to ensure people keep as much money in their super as possible. I just got another couple of questions here before I just stop and start the recording again. What if you are self-employed but no longer earning a high income? What if you are self-employed but no longer earning a high income? Yeah, if you're self-employed not earning a high income, and if you talk about high being less than $37,000, then the salary sacrifice component is generally not valid. But if you've got money in your super fund and you're paying 15% tax on it, then there could be still some benefit in moving it to pension phase. But it depends on how much it is as well, because with the account keeping fees, even though it's only $82 or something, you've got to get more benefit than $82 to warrant moving your funds to pension phase. And secondly, Margarita, thanks for the questions. Can you have access to your super fund if you're 64 and self-employed but no longer earning a high income? Okay, I see what you mean. It depends on your particular scenario as to whether you can get access, full access to your money. And it depends on how much work you are doing as well. So it's generally a test of, are you working less than 10 hours a week? And if you're working less than 10 hours a week on average throughout the year, they're a bit vague, these rules, but that's if you're working less than 10 hours a week, if you're not working more than 10 hours a week, then generally you're considered not employed for these types of rules, and you can access your superannuation money. So hopefully that answers your question there, Margarita. Now just do a quick stop and start again.